over the 75 years of struggling and extraordinary journey. The Communist Party of China has always regarded modernization as its historical ambition, unswerving goal, and powerful driving force. It has united and led the Chinese people to achieve the great transformation of the Chinese nation from standing up and growing prosperous to becoming strong, pioneering a new Chinese path to modernization. Time is the greatest writer, faithfully recording the steps of those who forge ahead. Today, we are closer, more confident, and more capable than ever before of making the goal of national rejuvenation a reality. The CPC always put the people first. The people-centered philosophy strikes a chord with the new era. The concept of putting people first resonates with the new journey. The great nation harmonizes with every household. The oath of putting people first will surely contribute to the journey to national rejuvenation. On October 1, 1949, atop Tiananmen Rostrum, Mao Zedong's resonant voice echoed throughout China and shook the world. As the stirring rhythm of the March of the Volunteers played, people reverently and solemnly gazed up at the rising five-star red flag. Yet, few knew that the flagpole before them, standing only 22.5 meters tall, was 12.5 meters shorter than initially planned.
Look, this is him, standing behind Chairman Mao and assisting with the flag raising.
As the designer of the flagpole for the founding ceremony, Lin Zhiyuan recounted the experience numerous times to his family. It was his honor as an engineer, yet a regret deep in his heart.
According to the command, the flagpole had to match the height of the highest point of Tiananmen Rostrum, which is 35 meters. My father said it was too difficult because they didn't have such a long steel pipe.
A seamless steel pipe of 35 meters was an unattainable goal for the newborn China. Emerging from a century of war-torn devastation, China was in depression and in urgent need of rebuilding. Mao Zedong once said, "What can we make now? We can make furniture and utensils. We can grow grain and mill it into flour. And we can make paper. But we can't even make a car, a plane, a tank, or a tractor."
In 1949, Beiping Water Company received an urgent task to manufacture the flagpole for the founding ceremony of the PRC. This flagpole was made by 5 workers from the water company.
75 years ago, Lin Zhiyuan and his colleagues carefully selected 4 water pipes of different diameters here, fitted them together one by one, and finally welded them into a 22.5 meter long flagpole. From 22.5 meters to 35 meters, great changes have occurred in the past 75 years. Today, China's development has reached new heights. Starting from scratch and always taking the people's interests as the starting point and ultimate goal of all undertakings. The CPC has shown its warmth. Since the 18th National Congress of the CPC, starting again from the new era, more than 1.4 billion Chinese people, under the leadership of the CPC, have been forging ahead along the sure path of rejuvenation and striving for a bright future of building China into a great modern socialist country in all respects. At the eastern end of the Heshi Corridor, on the edge of the Teng'er Desert, the art enthusiasts of Fumin New Village are rehearsing a modified Gulong folk tune on the square of the village, preparing for the upcoming 6th anniversary celebration of their relocation.
Let me show you something. Look. This is our old house before the relocation. Can you find yours?
This photo is of my house. My wife is feeding the sheep, wearing some shabby clothes.
The photos taken before the relocation bring back memories of the past.
This is my new home. It's much better than the old one.
They moved from the old houses in the mountains to the new homes developed from the desert. Now, the houses are neat and spacious. The roads are flat and smooth. The environment is beautiful and clean. And industrial greenhouses are spreading around the village. The smiles of the villagers are the best proof of a happy life.
The biggest change is better transportation. The roads are wider, the trees are greener, and we no longer have to walk when we go out.
So sweet, sweet life.
We should sing that song.
我们的生活充满阳光，太阳光。
Gansu is not only the ecological barrier in Western China, but also one of the main targets for poverty alleviation. In 2012, the Central Committee of the CPC started the war on poverty. In the same year, to solve the livelihood problems of people in the southern mountainous area of Gulong County, the local government figured out a new poverty alleviation path that is a win-win for the relocation of impoverished people in the mountainous and ecological protection of the Qilian Mountains.
I came from Ningxia.
I came from Lanzhou.
We came from Hetian.
The sheep here are very good. The meat is yummy.
Villager Wang Zhongyi brought in the second batch of lambs today.
Look at those lambs. All are well fed.
After some negotiation, Wang sold 130 lambs at a good price.
It's good. Those being loaded are mine. I've made around 100,000 yuan so far this year. I'm happy that I've earned money.
Develop an industry to develop the local economy and enrich the people. The once impoverished county is now becoming a sheep hub of China. Every day, truckloads of well-fed Gulong sheep are distributed to all parts of China, with an annual turnover reaching 7 billion yuan. And the stock on hand has ranked first in Gansu for 3 years. It has paved the way for rural vitalization with thriving industries and rich people.
I can earn 200,000 to 300,000 yuan a year.
Both my husband and I work here. The biggest advantage is that it is convenient to make money.
I can earn 5,000 yuan a month. It's good, very good.
Life is better now. I can afford earrings and necklaces.
On August 21, 2019, General Secretary Xi Jinping visited Fumin New Village for an inspection. He stressed that the CPC serves the people and works for the people, And the happiness of the people is what the CPC pursues. Always putting the people first has a powerful impact. Villager Li Yingchuan submitted his application to join the CPC at the age of 60. He is determined to become a CPC member and follow the party for life.
General Secretary Xi Jinping said that the CPC is committed to serving the people and working for the people. They built greenhouses, livestock sheds, and new houses for us. These are all benefits brought by the CPC. Following the sun won't make you cold, and following the CPC brings happiness.
In 2020, Gulang County, a severely impoverished county in Gansu, finally shed its poverty label. The millennia-old dream has become a reality. With immense determination, China has achieved the goals set in the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development 10 years ahead of schedule. Over 8 years, 98.99 million people emerged from poverty, and all 832 impoverished counties were removed from the poverty list. Absolute poverty, a problem that has plagued the Chinese nation for thousands of years, has been eradicated, creating a miracle under the governance philosophy of putting the people first. It is hailed by the World Bank as one of the greatest stories in human history.
Across the world, no dynasty, government, or political party has ever accomplished such a feat. It demonstrates the unparalleled organizing, mobilizing, and executive capabilities of the CPC. If we consider poverty alleviation as a safety net, our next goal of achieving rural vitalization is to achieve common prosperity.
Despite all the hardships on the arduous journey, no ethnic group, household, or individual should be left behind on the path forward. China's investment in rural road construction has remained above 400 billion yuan annually for 7 years. Currently, the rate of hardened roads and bus services in qualified administrative villages has reached 100%. Out of approximately 440 million express parcels daily, over 100 million travel in rural areas. Building roads is the first step to getting rich. The simple Chinese experience has promoted integrated urban and rural development and bridged the gap between Western and Eastern China. Since the 18th National Congress of the CPC, the construction of the multimodal transport corridor in the Yangtze River Economic Belt has been accelerated. The weak transportation infrastructure network in Western China has been improved. The Beijing-Urumqi Expressway in and out of Xinjiang has been opened to traffic. Major projects such as Sichuan-Shizong Railway and supporting roads have been advanced. A total of 145 counties have had railway stations.
The development of transportation adheres to the people-centered philosophy. It has become a solid foundation for economic and social development, a leading field in narrowing regional disparities, and an important guarantee for narrowing the urban-rural gap. It provides strong support for promoting common prosperity among farmers, advancing comprehensive rural vitalization, and accelerating the modernization of agriculture and rural areas.
Since the 18th National Congress of the CPC, General Secretary Xi Jinping has aimed high and looked far, focused on coordinated development, and personally planned, deployed, and promoted the coordinated development of the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, the development of the Yangtze River Economic Belt, the construction of Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area, the integrated development of the Yangtze River Delta, and the ecological protection and high-quality development of the Yellow River Basin, among other major regional strategies. He has also worked on advancing Western development, Northeast China's full revitalization, Central China's rise, and East China's trailblazing development. China's regional coordinated development has achieved historic accomplishments and undergone historic changes.
To ensure that people living in different regions can have more similar living standards and move toward common prosperity, we must plan the path for regional coordinated development well.
Fernando Lugris, ambassador of Uruguay to China, has lived in China for 9 years. In his view, China is a model of inclusive development.
You want to have an economic development that touches all different corners of your country and your population. This is what I would call an inclusive way of developing and trying to develop the whole country. It's quite outstanding.
In October 2022, Chinese communists solemnly declared to the world in its report to the 20th National Congress.
经过全党、全国各族人民共同努力，我们如期全面建成小康社会，实现了第一个100年奋斗目标。现在，我们正意气风发，迈上全面建设社会主义现代化国家新征程，向第二个100年奋斗目标进军，以中国式现代化全面推进中华民族伟大复兴。
The report to the 20th National Congress pointed out that to build China into a great modern socialist country in all respects, we have adopted a two-step strategic plan, basically realize socialist modernization from 2020 through 2035, and build China into a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful from 2035 through the middle of this century. This strategic plan has clarified the timetable and roadmap for building a great modern socialist country in all respects.
Achieving a moderately prosperous society in all respects means we have obtained an admission ticket and gained confidence. After building a moderately prosperous society, we'll begin to comprehensively advance socialist modernization and strive toward the goal of building a great modern socialist country in all respects.
The achievements of Chinese modernization will benefit more than 1.4 billion people, exceeding the total population of existing developed countries. General Secretary pointed out that for a modernization path to work and work well, it must put the people first. Modernization is not only about indicators and statistics on the paper, but more about the happy and stable life for the people. No small group should be abandoned. This sentence was heard during price negotiations for orphan drugs.
We've been thinking about this issue that no small group should be abandoned. We hope companies will show the utmost sincerity in the first round of quotations.
After 8 rounds of negotiations in 90 minutes, the drug for treating spinal muscular atrophy was finally included in the new medical insurance catalog. In recent years, China has intensified efforts and accelerated progress in tackling the medication challenges faced by patients with rare diseases. 51 orphan drugs under medical insurance coverage saw an average price reduction of over 50%.
We don't have to pay much for the injections every year. We are a very small group compared to people with other diseases. But our country hasn't abandoned us and has seen us. Our country has given my child a second life.
Over the past 6 years, the medical insurance catalog has been adjusted 6 times, with more than 700 drugs added to the National Medical Insurance Catalog, which has significantly reduced the burden on patients. By the end of 2023, China has established the world's largest basic medical insurance system, with residents' main health indicators ranking among the top in middle and high-income countries. At the first affiliated hospital of Xiamen University, an orthopedic surgery is underway. Chen Zhiheng is a soccer enthusiast. He's undergoing surgery on his left leg due to knee joint damage. 5 years ago, he also had surgery on his right leg due to an injury and was hospitalized for 9 days. However, this time, he can be discharged on the day of the surgery, and the out-of-pocket cost is only half of what it was 5 years ago.
This has saved both time and money. The healthcare insurance system benefits ordinary people very much.
From 9 days in the hospital to 1 day. It is thanks to the day surgery model introduced by the hospital. Hundreds of common diseases can now be treated with surgery in the morning and discharged in the afternoon.
By continuously improving our skills, we can minimize the impact on patients' normal lives and effectively reduce their expenses. The expenditure of the medical insurance fund is also reduced,
changing from paying for the treatment process to paying for treatment outcomes, thus forcing hospitals to improve quality, control costs, and enhance efficiency, is exactly the challenge that healthcare reform must address. In 2019, China launched a pilot reform of the payment method based on DRG and DIP. In 2020, Xiamen issued a white paper on disease diagnosis coding, dividing the medical services into 6,458 DIPs. Different codes correspond to different scores, determining the final payment that medical institutions can receive from the medical insurance fund. Therefore, the formation of each code is like tackling a tough livelihood issue.
We have made about 50 revisions. We discussed everything, from how to treat and code each DIP to clinical practice, coding, and medical insurance.
By the end of 2023, over 90% of pooling regions in China have carried out payment reform based on DRG and DIP. However, ensuring and improving people's well-being has no end, only new starting points. In 2024, the version 2.0 plan for payment based on DRG and DIP was officially released. Xiamen is adapting this plan to local conditions and revising the local DIP scheme.
We're not afraid of disputes or arguments. We're afraid of a bad reform. The voices of the people and medical staff are the direction of the reform.
People's sense of gain reflects the value of the reforms. Today, China is bringing over 1 billion people into a unified social security network. By the end of 2023, the number of social security cardholders nationwide reached 1.379 billion. The number of people covered by basic medical insurance exceeded 1.3 billion. And the number of people covered by basic pension insurance reached 1.066 billion. This is the largest social security safety net in the world, protecting every Chinese citizen. In 2016, the International Social Security Association presented the Chinese government with the award for outstanding achievement in social security.
China's social insurance system has earned its reputation and status in the international social security field. The government's attitude depends on whether it adheres to putting the people first. It also determines the warmth of the system and ultimately decides the financial commitment. The three factors combined can finally form a system that meets the requirements of 7 accesses proposed in the report to the 20th National Congress.
Since the new era began, in ensuring people's access to childcare, education, employment, medical services, elderly care, housing, and social assistance, China has made continuous progress. China's education has risen to the upper middle ranks globally. Urban areas have seen an average of 13 million new jobs annually. The universal 2-child and 3-child policies have been implemented. The urbanization rate of the total household registered population has reached 48.3%. Smart government services have been continuously upgraded, pushing the change from no need for a second visit to no need for physical presence. The third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee emphasized that further deepening reform comprehensively must adhere to a people-centered approach and respect people's principal status and pioneering spirit. Reforms should respond to public demand. Reforms are for the people and rely on the people. The fruits of reforms should be shared by the people. The third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee identified over 300 major reform measures. These comprehensive and meticulous reform actions collectively represent a nation's happiness index and paint a beautiful picture of Chinese modernization.
In the past decade of the new era, General Secretary Xi has sided with the people, upheld the CPC's fundamental political stance of standing on the people's side, adhered to the people-centered philosophy of development, and ensured the principal status of the people. Putting the people first is also the fundamental stance, viewpoint, and method throughout the theoretical system of Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era.
Hello. Hello. My name is Wang Yongcheng.
Hello. I've heard your voice on the radio.
Thank you. My name is Wang Yongcheng, a deputy to the 14th National People's Congress. As the first blind NPC deputy in China, I hope I can help the disabled community live a better life with my limited contribution.
As the NPC Deputy Liaison Office, Wang's studio receives hundreds of inquiries from disabled people across the country every day. In his first year of service, he proposed the publication of large print textbooks for low-vision students attending regular classes.
This was specially delivered by the Ministry of Education on November 13, 2023. It is also the first Braille version of a response to suggestions answered by 4 ministries.
The white octavo paper with orderly arranged Braille shows the country's respect for every group. Wang Yongcheng's suggestion was finally included in China's barrier-free environment creation law.
We are lucky to live in this era. The country and the government have not forgotten us. Our voices have been brought to the 2 sessions and received their response.
The font size of textbooks has become larger and clearer. Previously, some classmates would read very close to the book, but now they don't. I can score above 90 in exams.
75 years ago, before the founding of the PRC, the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference passed the common program of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, establishing the system of the National People's Congress. In September 1954, more than 1,200 NPC deputies elected from various regions gathered in Beijing to attend the first session of the first NPC. At the Congress, the PRC's constitution was passed, clearly declaring all power in the country belongs to the people. Through this system, the people of all ethnic groups hold the destiny of China and the nation firmly in their own hands. As of March 2023, China has over 2.77 million deputies to the NPC at all levels. They work in various fields across the country and are well versed in national conditions and public opinion. General Secretary Xi pointed out that the reason why the NPC system has strong vitality and huge strength lies in its deep roots among the people. Today, the NPC and the CPPCC held in Beijing every spring have become an important window for the world to observe Chinese democracy. Former Nepalese ambassador to China, Vishnu Shrestha, attended the 2 sessions twice. He gained a deeper understanding of China's democratic political practices through this window.
These 2 sessions means in both the sessions, there are the voices of people. There's accumulations of voices. It comes from the bottom, based on people. That means people-centric.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gubei Civic Center.
After Children's Day, the Gubei Civic Center in Changning District, Shanghai, became busy. This is a consultation meeting on the draft of the Preschool Education Law of the People's Republic of China. More than 10 participants from various industries reached a consensus in democratic consultation through the system to solicit proposals from the public.
I didn't expect that as a sanitation worker, I could also participate in legislation.
This is a direct channel that can reach the central government. It's truly remarkable. China really does everything for the people, and everything is centered on the people.
Hongqiao Subdistrict is one of the first local legislative information offices, set up by the NPC Standing Committee's Legislative Affairs Commission. In 2019, General Secretary Xi first proposed here that people's democracy is a whole-process democracy, providing scientific guidance for the construction of socialist democratic politics in the new era.
这样我们今后每一个立法都是有一个很扎实的基础，这个基础是民意的基础，这是一个民主的充分的体现。我们这种民主是全过程的民主，希望你们能够再接再厉，为探索走一条中国特色社会主义的民主化道路，继续做出贡献。
In 1983, Xi Jinping, then Secretary of the CPC Jingding County Committee, solicited opinions of people on the street. Today, the 45 local legislative information offices set up by the NPC Standing Committee's Legislative Affairs Commission have covered 31 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities, actively playing the role of an express for legislation. The NPC Standing Committee's Legislative Affairs Commission has solicited nearly 27,880 opinions on 183 draft laws from local legislative information offices. More than 3,200 valuable suggestions have been taken into consideration. Anne Lafortune, Seychelles' ambassador to China, once attended a consultation meeting at the Legislative Information Office in Nanwolfeng Township, Beijing. Her deepest feeling was that the people were listened to and respected.
While I was there, we found direct engagement when I was present observing between the local residents and the representatives of the National People's Congress. They were also listening to the marginalized group, the smaller group. It is more of an inclusive system where you do not leave anybody out as much as possible.
To practice the whole process people's democracy, both offline and online efforts have been made. On April 15, 2022, the online solicitation of opinions for the 20th National Congress officially started. Gathering various ideas is like steams converging from the ocean. It was the first time for the CPC to solicit opinions online on the work related to the National Congress from the whole society. In 32 days, a total of 8.542 million opinions and suggestions, carrying the people's aspirations for a better life, were gathered in Beijing via the internet, becoming an important reference for the CPC in drawing a new blueprint.
I'm looking forward to the 20th National Congress. I hope more policies will be tilted toward the grassroots to improve people's livelihood.
I wrote about increasing investment in agricultural technology because technology is important. See, I've never been to Beijing, but my suggestion has reached Zhongnanhai.
The whole process people's democracy is a democratic path, paved by the CPC, leading the Chinese people through extensive and profound democratic practice. It is a major theoretical innovation and a great creation. It is profound, yet I think it is also very simple. Ultimately, it is about ensuring people's status as masters of the country in the whole process.
The path a country or a nation takes determines its future and destiny. General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out that achieving modernization is a dream that the Chinese people have strived to fulfill since modern times. The journey of over 100 years that the party has traversed to unite and lead the Chinese people in pursuing national rejuvenation is also an exploration of a path toward modernization. Thanks to the unremitting efforts of generation after generation, we have found our own path to modernization. Today, on the giant ship of Chinese modernization, the people are the true masters. Marching forward along the Chinese path to modernization, under the leadership of the Communist Party of China.